What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So I was just out in the garden and checking things out, you know, talking to my plants, making them grow, making them happy, all that type of stuff. I'm just kidding. I was just out here looking around, but I noticed we are getting an abundance of jalapeno peppers. And you guys know we got that Harvest Right medium freeze dryer now, so it is time to start doing one of my favorite things is food preservation. And with this Harvest Right freeze dryer, we're able to preserve this food by freeze drying it and storing it up to 25 years. So we love peppers in my family. Now we do like the hot peppers, like habaneros and stuff. We cook with that mostly. Now the jalapenos, every year we grow them. Give or take, they are sometimes mild, sometimes they're a little hot, but this year they are just right. They are a great flavor, they are a great tasting pepper, and we are starting to get an abundance of them. So here is the pepper bed. Now I'm gonna show you guys, we got several different peppers. Now these are our jalapenos, and we got some that are a little bigger than others. Now this is about the right size right there. We got some even bigger than that. And I've already picked these once. I've already got a whole basket full of jalapenos in the kitchen that we are fixing to show you guys how we are going to preserve these. Now over here we got some cayenne peppers. Those are good. They are a little hot this year. They're usually not that hot, but this year for some reason they are just hot. But they have a good flavor. So that's them there. Over here, this is one of my all-time favorite peppers. This is a Sugar Rush peach pepper. This is a Sugar Rush peach pepper. We got the one cayenne. And over here, these are one of my all-time favorite peppers as well. These are cherry peppers. A lot of times, if you guys go to like a buffet and there's a salad bar or whatever, a lot of times they'll have these up there. They'll be pickled. These are very good. They're very tame. They're like a sweeter version of a bell pepper, and you can eat them green. In this case, you let them go a little long, they turn red. Very good. I don't know what we're going to do with those yet, but we're definitely going to start picking our jalapenos. A storm came in and kind of blew over my plants. As you can see, I don't have anything kind of holding them up, but anyways, that's our pepper bed. It don't take very many pepper plants to get a good abundance of peppers. So anyways, I'm gonna put the camera down, I'm gonna get to picking, then we'll head back into the kitchen, wash these peppers up, and show you guys how we're gonna stick them in the freeze dryer. Okay guys, so we're back in the kitchen, and as you can see, we have been blessed this year with an abundance of fresh jalapeno peppers. I think we only planted like 4 or 5 jalapeno plants, and this is just 2 pickings. In Oklahoma, it's super humid. These jalapenos do very well. But one thing that we love doing is preserving them, and we've always canned them in the past, which takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of material. So this time we're going to put the Harvest Right freeze dryer to the test, and we are going to try to freeze dry all these jalapenos. Now I don't know if I can fit all these in these trays, but we will see. And we love making fresh salsa with our tomatoes from the garden, our onions, and our jalapenos. but we don't have quite enough tomatoes just yet. So what we're gonna do is, that's one thing that we kind of struggle with, is getting all of the ingredients to make our salsa every year that comes in at the same time. Right now, the jalapenos are coming in very strong earlier than the tomatoes. We don't have quite enough of the tomatoes yet, so we're gonna preserve these jalapenos, and I'm sure we'll still have jalapenos coming on when the tomatoes are ready, but we're gonna go ahead and freeze dry these jalapenos. Whenever we're ready for the salsa making, when we get the abundance of tomatoes, we can reconstitute these jalapenos and put them right into our salsa batch. So these are the jalapenos I've already picked about a week ago. So they're still firm, but they're almost getting ready to start getting soft. These are the ones you guys just see me pick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them to the sink and wash them off, and then we'll get started on the next process. Okay, so we got the fresh peppers washed off, and what we got here is a mandolin fruit and vegetable slicer. Now there's several different ways you can freeze dry these jalapenos. You could slice them in half, cut the stems off, stick them on there, and freeze dry them. It really depends what the outcome is you want. Now, we're gonna do this a couple different ways. Like I said, we're gonna preserve some of these ones that are fixing to turn soft for our salsa, and it'll probably be a week or two. We've already got some tomatoes, but we're waiting for a big abundance so we can make a big pot of salsa all at once. So freeze drying them how we want until the tomatoes are ready is what we're gonna do with some of these. And what I'm gonna do for that is I'm going to cut them in with this little slicer here. It actually has these right here. I think that's a good size. Let's try it out. So when you cut them, it makes these little squares. So we'll do something like that for the salsa.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that way whenever we're ready to make the salsa, we'll just take these, we'll put them in a mason jar after they're freeze dried, and then we'll know that these are ready for the salsa. And a couple of the other ways we're gonna do it is, we love eating chili here. So one thing we like to do is we always used to dehydrate jalapenos to make them last, and then we blend them up into a powder. But this time we're gonna freeze dry them, and we're gonna put them in the blender and make a powder as well. You can put that on eggs, you can put it in chili, you can put it on anything you want. And as long as it's freeze dried, it'll last a long time. And I'm gonna leave the seeds and everything. So when they start to get a little soft, they're a little harder to cut. So some of these I might have to just cut up with a knife. But you can see the idea, that's perfect for salsa. So I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna do probably a whole tray's worth of them cut with these little slices like this, and then we'll change the mandolin slicer and do some different ones. Okay guys, so I got enough to fill up one tray, I think, all cut and sliced. But one thing I want to share with you guys is, if you guys watched the video where we did our first freeze dryer video with the eggs, they were kind of sticky and they kind of stuck to this, but I got online and I started doing some research, and I found these tray liners or tray mats, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of like wax paper, but they're already pre-cut for these medium-sized trays. So this is going to be a time saver. It's going to make cleanup a lot better, faster, and it's going to keep everything from sticking to these trays. So let's go ahead and take our first batch. We'll see how many more we can fit on a tray, or this might be too much, I don't know. But I think what we're gonna do is probably just try to make everything the same size. We might just go ahead and do all the peppers just like we did on that setting with that slicer. And then everything will come to freeze dry at the same rate, and we'll be to ensure that everything's done. So I think this will be fine. That's about enough for a tray, I think. So what I'm gonna do is, as I get a tray filled up, I'm going to go ahead and take each tray to the freezer, a regular freezer, and I'm gonna start stacking them up and letting them pre-freeze before we stick them in the freeze dryer. So I'm not quite sure how thick these peppers will freeze dry, so I'm not gonna overload the trays, but I think you can have a couple layers and they'll still be fine. So this is probably all we're gonna be able to fit on these trays. And I'll have Rachel zoom over and show you. We did most of the soft, older peppers, and we still have a few left, but I think this is gonna take 2 different batches. We have, like I said, we have tons of peppers, and this freeze dryer is gonna help us preserve them, because it's hard to use up all these peppers all at once. I mean, even if you make salsa, you're not gonna put this many peppers in your salsa unless you just love peppers. Dehydrating them, it's good. We've done it in the past, but now that we got the freeze dryer is pretty much superior to everything in food preservation. You can store this up to 25 years. So next year, if we don't want to plant peppers, we'll probably have plenty of peppers next year to make more salsa with just the peppers that we harvested from this year. So I'm gonna wash my hands real quick, and then we'll talk about sticking these in the freezer and for how long. Okay, so if you guys decide to do this and slice all these peppers, be smarter than me and put on some medical gloves or vinyl gloves or some sort of gloves so you don't get them all over your hands. And if you take a deep breath, man, these are potent peppers. They're not too hot this year though, but man, they put off an aroma and it kind of takes your breath away. So like I said, I'm going to stack these in the freezer. I did order some little tray stackers that you get, and you put them like on the corners and it stacks them so nothing touches. But for what I'm doing right now, we kept the layers low enough I can stack them just like this, because in our regular freezers, you don't have tons of space. We got a lot of meat in our freezers and stuff, so we're kind of limited on that. But I'm gonna stick them in there and try to get them frozen. Hopefully it'll freeze solid in 2 or 3 hours. And once I determine that they are froze solid, we'll go ahead and stick them in the freeze dryer and start the process. Okay guys, our jalapenos have been in the freezer for 3 hours. They are frozen solid. And the freeze dryer is prepped and ready. It's done its thing. It takes about 15 minutes to get down to temperature. And it says to load the trays. So that's what we're gonna do. And each tray is pretty equivalent on how much. And the only thing I didn't do is I wish I would have weighed how many fresh peppers we put in here, but I didn't. All right, so they're loaded in there. Now I'm gonna close the drain valve so it can pull vacuum and all that. And then we hit continue. And there it goes, it's gonna start freezing. So, like I said, I wish I would have weighed the peppers when we first got them out of the garden to know how much we actually have on these trays. We didn't do that, but no big deal. This would have been nice to know for future reference and stuff like that, and how much came out and from fresh to dry weight and all that type of stuff. But anyways, I have no idea how long this is gonna take. However, anything you freeze dry, if you pre-freeze it, it speeds up the process. So as soon as this is done, we'll come back, we'll start videoing, and we'll show you the next process. Okay, so our jalapenos are done. It took about 12 to 13 hours for the complete process. Not too bad. So it is the next day from when we first started. See if you guys can see these. They smell amazing. So basically, we've been kind of thinking about what we want to do with these. So you guys seen the jalapeno plants. They're still putting on, they're still producing a lot of good jalapenos. So since we've already got these sliced, what we're gonna do this time is they're sliced and then they're even cut even smaller. And I wish you guys could, I don't think you guys can hear that, but they're just like, they feel like just so light and crispy, kind of crazy. But anyway, since we got them sliced like this, where'd you do? Whoa, those are potent for sure. We are just going to put them in the mason jars, the glass jars, and we're just gonna seal them with the lid sealer here, and we're gonna put a oxygen absorber in there. And the reason is we're fixing to make some salsa. We're waiting for a few more tomatoes. We're gonna be making some salsa, and this would be perfect for that. And then we also talked about putting this in chilies and other types of stuff like that. So let's just, real quick, let's just start putting these in the mason jars. I'm not sure how many it's going to take. See if I can do this without making a big mess. Spoke too soon. But if you wanted to turn this into like a powder, you could do that. You could put this in a blender, in a little Ninja blender, and just turn it into a powder. And you can cook with it. Put it in soups, stews, chili, sprinkle it on your eggs or any type of food, and it would be wonderful. And it probably wouldn't hurt to wear a mask when you're doing this. I mean, this stuff's just about to make me sneeze and cough. Very potent. So I think we might be able to get them all in 4 trays. 4 trays and 2 jars. So I would like, if some of you watching this video would leave some comments down below. What are some ideas you guys have with freeze-dried jalapenos or any other kind of peppers? Do you guys do anything with anything like this? And if you do, what's some of your favorite recipes? Or what's some of your favorite ways to preserve this? I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here, and I'm not gonna put the oxygen absorber on it yet. Let me fill up another jar, and I'm gonna have to get another jar because this is not gonna be enough. This is a lot of jalapenos. Like I said, the only thing I wish I would have done is measured the weight before we freeze dried everything. It would have been interesting to know just how many raw jalapenos we had in pounds. Okay, so we got all our jars filled up. Alright, so now I'm going to open this oxygen absorbers. Now, I think this is a pack of 5. Once you open these, they're going to start going to work and start absorbing the oxygen. So, okay, there's 4 in there, so I think it's 4, 5. So that's just about perfect. I'll put that on top. Now, if we were going to be doing this long-term, for long-term food storage, we would want to use Mylar bags. And I have a Mylar bag right here. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me go ahead and get this started here. And that will pull all the air out of there, and it will give this a lot longer shelf life. Now, if you want to store these freeze-dried peppers for long-term food storage, like up to 25 years, you'd want to use something like this, which is a Mylar bag. You can put all that in there. You can even vacuum seal these if you got a vacuum sealer, and seal it back up. Keep it out of sunlight for up to 20-25 years, and you got good jalapenos to pull right out of your pantry a long time from now. All right, good to go. Okay, so we are done freeze drying this batch of jalapenos. I actually got 2 more trays in the freeze dryer right now. We'll deal with that later. I probably won't video it, but we got 3.5 quarts of the freeze dried jalapenos. Got them in the jars with the oxygen absorbers. These will last a long time in the shelf, on the shelf in the pantry. We'll keep it out of sunlight, keep it out of light, and it will last several years. And like I said, if you wanted it to last 20, 25 years, go with the Mylar bags, keep them out of sunlight, and they'll be good to go. But I would like to hear some of your guys' comments on what is your favorite way to cook with jalapenos. How do you preserve jalapenos? Do you have any cool ideas that we could do with these sliced and diced freeze-dried jalapenos? And for any of you that are interested in getting your own Harvest Right freeze dryer, please click our affiliate link down in the description box below. You can go check them out, read all about them, get on some Facebook groups. That's what we have done. We've been coming up with all kinds of ideas. I think next we're gonna try to do some freeze-dried candy, which kids are looking forward to that. It's a lot of fun. But what is the most important thing to us is being able to take an abundance of food, like baskets of jalapenos straight out of the garden, freeze dry them, and know we're gonna have them in our house or wherever we go for up to 25 years. That's one thing that is very cool about the freeze dryer. The possibilities are endless. If you guys have leftover food, if you cook spaghetti and there's too much left over, you can freeze dry that, put it in Mylar bags or put it in some type of storage container, airtight. And years down the road, if you say, hey, remember that spaghetti we cooked? Let's get it out and let's eat the rest of it. Reconstitute it with water. It's good to go. So anyways, guys, that's the video for today. Please subscribe to the channel. Look forward to more freeze dryer videos coming up. And leave us a comment down below. What are some of your favorite ways to use jalapenos, whether they're fresh, pickled, canned, freeze dried, whatever. And we'll see you next time.